Hey guys, I often get asked, how do you choose with such clarity? How do you know what is right for you? And today I want to share that with you. I want to share something that completely changed the way I live because I think it is not about making the right decision, it's about choosing from your knowing, from your deep yes and from your no. Here is what I know now. The ones who dare to choose, they come closer to what's already meant for them, closer to who they are really here to be. That realization taught me to choose faster, not impulsively, not under pressure, but with intention. Because not choosing is still a choice to abandon yourself, a choice to abandon your truth, a choice to abandon what is in alignment for you. I remember when my knowing spoke loud. I was in something that looked good. It felt safe. It had all the boxes checked, but inside a deep whisper was like, this isn't it. My mind said, stay, be patient, give it time. But my truth had already left. But I still stayed because I didn't want to quit. I was scared of being wrong, and I thought being loyal to someone else, being loyal to my fantasy, is being loyal to myself. But every time and every day I ignored this whisper, I was drifting away from my truth. So I used to doubt every single choice I had. I weighed every angle, I questioned everything. I stopped trusting my own voice. And in hindsight, when I look back, I know it's because my fantasy I built in my head felt safer than the truth I knew. Until I saw what it did to me, to my spirit, to my body. I was anxious, I was stressed, I was not me. Usually I am funny, I really flow with life. I have a deep personality, but I was focused on lack with everything. And that is where I realized I am not in alignment with my truth. And I know that choosing your truth feels scary. It might mean that you have to let go. It might mean that you will walk alone. But you know what is scarier? Staying somewhere your soul already left. And how do you know your soul already left? That is when you experience stagnation. That is the deep whisper of your soul saying you're not on the right path, you're not in alignment. And then came the shift. I realized this life is mine, all of it. So I started choosing intentionally, even when it felt shaky, even though I didn't have all the answers, because my knowing was more trustworthy than my fear as someone who experienced an anxiety disorder. And here is what I've learned. People who choose from their knowing, they're not reckless. They are not confused. They are aligned. They don't wait for more clarity. They hear the whisper because they're so in touch with their soul. Their soul speaks and they know that it speaks softly. So if you're waiting for loudness, for someone saying, ba, 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 you have to do this, you'll miss the truth that has been guiding you the whole time. So how do you know if it is your mind or your knowing? Your mind spins, it doubts, it overthinks, it negotiates. You will know that you are in your head, but your knowing is quiet. It is still, it lands in your body. When I feel that drop, I move and I don't debate it anymore. I trust it, and that took practice, like awareness, devotion. And the moment I start spinning again, I know that I stepped out of trust and I guide myself back to my body. And how do you do that? Just sit with yourself, still focus on your body. And what I always do, I ask myself the options I have on my mind and I feel my body. Am I expanding or do I feel like stagnation? The energy of contraction in my body. And that is how I return to my body. Even when people don't get it, even when they disagree, because they will, I don't argue, I don't explain, I just choose quietly, steadily, because this life is mine. And I come from a culture where being liked matters, being the good girl matters. But for me, I made that choice already. That ends with me because I've seen what happens when you live based on what others accept as truth. That's not mine. I'm not here to repeat the past, and I am here to live my life how it is meant. I am life itself, and when I talk about this, it reminds me of the poem on children. And there's so much wisdom in that. It's about experiencing life itself. We're here to evolve, and you're not an echo, you are a voice, your own voice. And if you haven't read it, please do, because it reminds me of that we are life itself, that everything we do, it's ours to live. I will put it in the description down below. And maybe today is the day to also anchor in that truth and let it move through you. Let it remind you, you are not here to be molded. You are here to become, to live life itself. So when I don't know, I ask God. I sit, I breathe, and my next action always comes up. I know what I have to do. The answer, the next step will appear not in chaos, but in stillness. And that connection didn't just show up. I build it with devotion, with practice. And if you're listening and you're still like, yeah, but I don't trust my intuition, that is not your intuition. That is your conditioning talking, okay? That is fear. That is old programming. Leave that. Your body knows, it always has. So ask it, like, when I feel into this, do I expand or do I contract? Learn the language of your nervous system, because the answer never comes from waiting. It comes from moving, from choosing. And if you're still here watching this, it means you're being called back to your truth. Maybe right after this video, go sit in silence, just you, your soul, and ask, what's true for me? Choose from your knowing and then surrender. That is the dance. That is the way. Your yes and your no are not random. They're your guidance. You just have to be brave enough to listen. Because every time you choose fear, you choose someone else's life over your own. Every time you say yes when your soul says no, you lose a piece of yourself. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's saying, I trust my voice. I trust my knowing. I trust that what's meant for me can only meet me when I am being real. If you're standing at a decision point right now and your knowing is whispering, but your fear is loud, I see you. This video understands you. The courage you need, you already have it. You're not unclear. You're just scared to trust. And that is human, that is conditioning, and it is okay. But it is also a call. Here is what I want you to know. There is no wrong decision when you choose with awareness. Even the detours teach. Even the endings bless. The only mistake is not choosing at all. Because that's what keeps you stuck. Delayed, disconnected. It will delay your future. It will disconnect you from your truth. And I've learned this through my own experience. And I realized if I made a decision earlier on in whatever was happening, I wouldn't delay what was really meant for me. And we can say right now, of course, it needed to happen. However, I think the wisdom that it taught me is make decisions, and there was no wrong decision. So now it's time to choose. Choose from your body, from your soul, from your knowing. Not because it is easy, but because it is real. It feels real, okay? Because you've waited too long. The ones who dare to choose, they are not perfect. They are not fearless. They are just ready. So stop waiting for perfect timing, perfect clarity, perfect knowing. Your knowing is already speaking. If you're ready to choose from your knowing, no matter how loud the fear is or feels, type, I trust my knowing. Let that be your declaration. That version of you, you've always been postponing. She or he is not waiting anymore. You're ready, right? I hope my message resonates. I want you to know how grateful I am that you're here with me, that you're taking the time to watch my videos. Like always, I want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.